With just 3 rounds remaining, the race for the Speed Touring Car Championship is getting interesting. But before anyone is crowned, they must attempt to conquer one of the most challenging and exciting tracks in the world. Today, Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca welcomes the SCCA Speed World Challenge. Hello everyone, I'm Lee Diffie along with Johnny O'Connell and Brian Till. Welcome to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca for round 8 of the Speed Touring Car Championship. But before we get to this race, let's take a look at the previous round at another wonderful circuit, Road America Elkhart Lake. It was a very special day for Nissan and Peter Cunningham. He got off to a good start from pole, but Bill Auberlen and Jeff Oldenburg, they made contact. Probably a rare mistake that we've seen from Bill Auberlen coming down deep on the inside. He spun and put him to the tail of the field, but it proved to be an exciting race from there on in. Rookie Tim Pappas in the Lexus had a stunning drive. He got into second and stayed there for the remainder of the day, but it wasn't the case for his Lexus teammate, Mike Fitzgerald. His day ended on the beach. More contact here, or a close call, I should say, between Eric Curran and Ken Dobson, and Ken ran wide on the outside of Canada corner after having a pretty strong run at Road America, and contact between Eric Curran and Shauna Marinas. These two have come together before and put Shauna in the wall, and her day was done. Up front, it was a very good day for Peter Cunningham, but the dice for the final step on the podium, it ended with plenty of action and a risky move from Jeff Oldenburg. It was a great save, but he lost 2 positions and would remain there. Pierre Klein-Ubing, a narrow escape, but what a day it was for Peter Cunningham, Team RTR and Nissan, their first victory of the year. A very emotional day. It was a home victory, and he did it from pole. A great day for Peter Cunningham and huge steps for that new car. That brings us here to Laguna Seca. We take a look at the points, and the big news today is that Bill Auberlen for Turner Motorsport can clinch the 2003 title if he gets 8 more points today than Pierre Klein-Ubing. The manufacturer situation looks like this. There's a 14-point margin, BMW over Acura. Time to go down to the grid and meet and say hi to Brian Till.
When drivers talk about going for the goal by winning in the Speed World Challenge Series, they need to keep in mind the other heavy metal involved with doing well here, and that's lead. Finish in the top 4 in any Speed World Challenge event, and series officials will hand you up to 40 pounds of rewards weight. REWARD is an acronym for the reward of equalization weight assigned to reduce driver sensitivity. What it's really designed to do is make you and your car move back to the rest of the pack for at least the next event. Take series points leader and heavyweight, if you will, Bill Auberlen, and the 200 pounds of rewards weight that he carries, and contrast that to the 10 pounds of reward weight in the Mazda of pole-sitting Jeff Altenberg. And you'll know why Altenberg hopes to do what Peter Cunningham did last time out, go from the pole to the checkered flag, and hand Mazda its first victory of the season.
Time to take a look at how they will line up here at Laguna Seca today, and for the first time ever, Mazda lock out the front row, and Jeff Oldenburg picks up his first Speed Touring Car pole. Well done. Marinas another front row. Cunningham, Klein-Ubing, they share the second. Bill Auberlen in a strong position. It'll be interesting to see the fight between he and Pierre. Chuck Hemmingson and Bob Stretch has had an outstanding weekend this weekend. Dobson and Pappas, they share the next row, and as we look through the remainder of the grid, the remainder of the drivers. Johnny, what's the real key here at Laguna?
Well, the key is being up at the front because it's a difficult racetrack to pass on. You've got 2 areas, turn 2, and turn 11. Those are your best areas, but I think for the most part we're going to see a lot of single file racing, but these guys aren't always patient, and guys will make things happen. On
the right of your screen, the first blue car you see, that is Jeff Oldenburg, the pole sitter. To the left, Shauna Marinas. An all tri-point Mazda front row. We get set for round 8 of this exciting championship, the Speed Touring Car Championship. We're away. John Prohl gets a dynamic start further back in the Audi, but it's the 2 tri-point cars, and here comes Bill Auberlen as well.
Well, and what you saw right there was Klein-Ubing made a really good start as well, and he's right behind Altenberg. He's going to try to get that position from Sean, and so far, look, going into turn 2 here, it looks like he pulled it off.
Eric Curran coming from the back too, forcing his way through. You ride with Shauna Marinas. Klein-Ubing's already through. There's contact down in turn 2. Everyone seems to be okay, though. There's a little dust flying. That's usual here at Laguna Seca. But up front, it was Pierre Klein-Ubing who is trying desperately to hold on to this championship, and Bob Stretch, what a start from him in the BMW, the Wheels America machine. He's up to 3rd.
Beautiful start by him, and as we ride on board with Shauna here, remember, we saw a similar thing from her, at Road America. Not the greatest start, but then she gained positions back. So, this is not the war over right now. Again, these guys are all trying to settle down into their own little rhythm as we go up into turn 6 here. Petey Cunningham looking strong on the inside.
On the inside of Bill Auberlen, and Auberlen hard on the brakes, carrying that extra 200 pounds, and there's contact there between Peter Cunningham and Shauna Mariners. She's got shuffled back from the front row. Boy, oh boy, she's getting beaten around on this first lap.
You know, and again, she's just got to learn, and it's an experience thing. She's showing to us every time she qualifies that she has speed. What she needs to learn is racecraft and aggression at the start to get with the program right at the green light.
Good aggressive stuff there too from Shane Lewis in the ARC Mazda, and Ken Dobson. Ken knows this track so well. He lives about 7 miles away. Back up the front though, the pressure is on our pole man, Jeff Altenberg in the Mazda, and Pierre Klein-Ubing chasing. Here's the replay, Shauna Mariners, and watch the Nissan of Peter Cunningham.
Well, Petey being on the inside that tight, I mean, that's a really difficult move to pull off, especially because Shauna being on the outside doesn't even know that he exists. So, you know, little contact there. These guys, you know, they have that occasionally and get away with it. So, you know, Shauna didn't get turned backwards there, so no harm, no foul.
Race leader is Jeff Altenberg, and look at Bob Stretch in the Wheels America BMW. This has been an outstanding run for him, and he's enjoyed a really top weekend. The car's been running strong, and this is great to see the Wheels America car up there. Plenty of diversity in this championship, and that's what we're seeing here at Mazda Raceway.
Well, I mean, you've got that Mazda out front, Lee, and we've seen it strong so many times this season, but they've yet to pull it off. You've got Pierre Klein-Ubing running second. I'd say one of the stronger drivers, you know, in the class. Past champion, very smooth. Rare to see him make a mistake. And of course, Stretch there running third in the BMW. And the beautiful thing about this type of racing is the differences in manufacturers and the SCCA's ability to keep them all so that they're running relatively close.
So Pierre Klein-Ubing is suddenly not thinking about challenging Altenberg. He's defending from Bob Stretch. Sitting fourth is Auberlen, then Peter Cunningham fifth. Behind him is Tim Pappas, the rookie. This great second half of the season continues for Tim Pappas. And Bill Auberlen carrying that extra weight, championship thoughts on his mind. He could wrap it up today, but it will be a tough task. Again, needing to finish 8 points higher than the man in second at the moment, Pierre Klein-Ubing, and Auberlen is on a roll. Brian.
One of the advantages that Bob Stretch had at the start is rear-wheel drive in that BMW. The front-wheel drive cars on this uphill front straightaway, as the weight shifts to the back on the start, they get a little wheel spin. These rear-wheel drive cars had a big advantage at the start, and Bob Stretch took advantage of it, guys.
Lee, you were just speaking about Bill and the championship and all that kind of stuff, and I promise you that Pierre Klein-Ubing is also aware of that. Yeah. And his agenda right now, as being the guy running second in the championship, is to make sure Bill stays behind him. But one thing, Pierre's very experienced. You're not going to see him force any issues early on in this race. He's going to sit behind Altenberg, wait to see what his car's doing, where he's strong, where he's weak, and then wait until later in the race and make his move.
Jeff Altenberg, who's had 2 podiums this year, sits further back in the championship. He should be a lot higher. He's 12th. They've just had a string of bad luck, and this could be the day for Jeff Altenberg. He picked up his first pole. Could it be the day for his first win at Mazda here at their track, Laguna Seca Raceway? The Speed Touring Car Championship will continue on the other side of this.
It's one of the best times to buy the best ATVs on earth during the Honda 03 clearance event. Get a straight deal on every new Honda ATV in stock with 0 down payment and fixed 4.9% APR for up to 60 months. And get a low fixed APR on any new motorcycle. The Honda 03 clearance event. When we clear out, you clean up.
I started working at my dad's gas station 20 years ago. I loved the fact that we could work together every day and build something that would be lasting. That was his goal. My dad really planned ahead. He sat down with our prudential agent, and they made a plan of what would happen if he passed away. Without having that life insurance policy, I probably wouldn't have this business. I'm so thankful that after 8 years, I'm still here doing what I love to do every day.
There's a rhythm to the road, and we have the Toyo tire to fit you, like the Proxys High Performance line featuring the T1S for the ultimate and ultra-high performance, the affordable FZ4 high-performance radial, and the ST for full-size sport trucks and SUVs. Tire dealers themselves have named Toyo #1 in product quality. That's harmony with tire dealers, drivers, and the road.
Okay. How many times have I told you? You accelerate at the apex through the corner.
I was.
Oh.
Live for the curves. Porsche Cayenne. There is no substitute.
Speed Channel's coverage of the Speed Touring Car Championship is brought to you by BMW. Visit your local BMW centre for a test drive. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. And by Toyo Tires, known for performance, tires that fit you. Welcome back to Laguna Seca, and look at this pressure from Pierre Klein-Ubing in the Acura RSX running second. He's all over the back of the tri-point master of Jeff Altenberg, our pole man. We saw these two guys in that recap that we showed you earlier from Road America. And Johnny, you can talk us through this. This was a pretty ambitious moment, but a great save from Jeff Altenberg, and he said he'd do it again. This was the one at Road America.
You know what, and I spoke to him as well, and that was a, you like to call him a Hail Mary. And, right here as we ride on board with Petey making that move into turn 6 and getting Sean, and that was bad luck. But, again, Jeff is totally feeling the pressure from Mazda, from his team, to get a win, to get back in the championship. And sometimes you need a little, you take those, high-risk maneuvers, especially going into the last lap. He was going to try something. It didn't pull off. It was lucky for Klein-Ubing that he didn't hit him.
Pappas coming under pressure there as well. Right behind him is Chuck Hemmingson. We've got Rich Markey in the gravel trap and stuck, and that is his first drive in the championship this year. Nick Johnson regularly in that car, and we have our first full course caution of this race. And this is let's have a look at a replay, find out what happened to Rich in the Techmark Autosport car. What do you make of that, Johnny?
Lee,
turn 6?
Yeah, that's before turn 6, and a fall off there, you've got, a couple things that could have happened. He could have locked his rears up. Right as you turn in there, it's very tricky, so you can get a spin going in. Also likely, somebody might have got him from behind. Anything can happen.
Well, while we're under full course caution, great chance to take a break, and when we return, stay with us. Boris Said will join us. We'll talk about Speed World Challenge and plenty more.
Customize your own machine and race through 20 gravity-defying courses at ridiculous speeds. F-Zero GX. The future of racing is in your hands. Only for Nintendo GameCube. Rated T for Teen. GameCube.
Today on Speed.
I can't push you around now. Let's go.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Bumping and banging, battling through.
Takes on California. Fast trucks, tight racing, and NASCAR's toughest wheelmen in a fierce title fight. The tightest points battle in NASCAR means every race counts. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, California Speedway, today 4 Eastern, only on Speed.
If you're losing your hair, how would you like a free month supply of Avacor? Huh? That's right. We're giving away an additional 1 month supply of Avacor absolutely free with today's orders. Did you know thousands of people just like you have reversed their hair loss thanks to Avacor? Imagine going from this to this.
When I started to notice my hair thinning, I took action with Avacor. It stopped my hair loss. I'm regrowing my hair. It's worth every penny.
Before you spend thousands on painful hair restoration procedures, why not give us a call and let Avacor regrow your hair the easy way without paying a fortune?
Avacor is so effective, it's guaranteed for up to 1 full year. Isn't it time you regain that youthful appearance? The sooner you order, the sooner Avacor can start regrowing your hair.
Call 800-397-8917. Remember, order today to get an extra month's supply for free. That's 800-397-8917.
Welcome back to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. This is the 8th round of the Speed Touring Car Championship and the restart. Here we go. Jeff Altenberg, nice jump there over Pierre Klein-Ubing. And look at this, Bill Auberlen. He's already got past Bob Stretch, and now he's on the inside of the man he's battling with for the championship. And Oberlin, great move on the inside, and Stretch gets involved as well.
Unbelievably strong move by Billy there, especially you got to remember he's carrying 200 extra pounds. I have no idea what Pierre was thinking because he was big time asleep.
And Cunningham looking on Stretch, can't quite get it there. We ride with the Nissan pilot for the moment. He sits at the tail of this group, desperately looking for a way past Bob Stretch at the moment. I'd like to welcome to the Speed Announce booth Boris Said, who, of course, we can see in the Speed GT Championship. Boris, crazy stuff in the early stages.
It's always crazy. I mean, that's what makes this racing so great to watch.
So, what now does Bill Oberlin have for Jeff Altenberg? We've seen these two guys battling. Remember the Road Atlanta race, but it was in reverse. It was Altenberg chasing Bill Oberlin. Now look at Bob Stretch giving Klein Newbing a hard time. Oberlin runs a little wide through 6, and Cunningham is ready to pounce.
He really is, but the thing is that 200 pounds is going to make a difference when you're going up that hill. You know, but Bill Oberlin right now, being behind Altenberg, remember it was Altenberg that came down on Bill when he was trying that move at Road America. Bill goes all the way to the back of the pack. In his run back towards the front, he was setting fast lap after fast lap, and I'm sure that Altenberg, looking at the times after the race, was aware of that, and he's going to feel the pressure.
The sound of the Nissan Sentra. Boris, what are your thoughts on these the Mazda proteges this year as we see Altenberg open up a pretty healthy gap now on Oberlin? They've been fairly impressive, haven't they?
I mean, they've been quick all year, and I've been a big Shauna Mariana's fan, and you know, today I thought she was going to win her first race. So I'm a little disappointed, but she's still up there. But I mean, Bill's been the class of the field in the M3 this year, and there's no love lost between him and Jeff Altenberg. So I think there's going to be a lot closer before the end of the race.
Incidentally, Shauna Marinas is back in 8th after starting on the front row, and she's holding a position ahead of Dobson and behind Tim Pappas. Leader is Altenberg, Oberlin chasing. This is Pierre Klein Newbing in the 42. Then Bob Stretch. He's been the revelation this weekend. He's having his best run of the year. He's back in the championship. He's something like 18th in the championship standings as he looks at Klein Newbing. Let's get it down to pit lane. Here's Brian.
Well, by far, Lee, like you said, the best performance for Bob Stretch's this year, but Don Jolacek, relatively new crew chief. Why now? What did you guys find to make this car so fast?
We just found that it's taken us a few races to kind of get the car sorted out, get it the way we need it, and we just got a good setup. We got a good setup for this weekend, and it's just working out real nice. We're real happy with everything.
Well, to find a good setup for Laguna is certainly a challenge. It looks like these guys have found it, Lee.
Thanks, Brian. Tough break for one of the local drivers. Californian Roger Fu is done for today.
You know, and what they were just talking about the setup, again, it's so critical at this racetrack to find the right spring combination, ride height combination, rake, combination. There's a million things you could play with to get your car to work with around the circuit, and some guys are better at finding it than others. And you know, when you find that sweet spot, all of a sudden you realize that, wait, this guy's not a wanker. You know, he's fast. He just doesn't have, or hasn't had the car until now to show what he can do.
And the day is done for Roger Fu, sadly. One of the strong Mazda runners. Meanwhile, back up front, Altenberg in a Mazda protege. They are looking for that first win of 2003. And speaking with Steve Sanders from Mazda, he said they were a little surprised. They've been a little frustrated. They were hoping that they would have victory sooner. They haven't had a victory yet. They still haven't got it yet, but Altenberg is heading in the right direction.
He's got Bill chomping at his heels. I think Bill just ran the fastest lap of the race, so Bill's starting to get his groove on now. I think he's smelling championship.
You know what? This is going to be his last race as a single man. He is getting married next weekend.
Who would have thought Bill Oberlin married?
You know what? I took a bet earlier in the season that it would never happen. I think he's just trying to prove us all wrong once again.
Riding with Shauna Marinas. Up ahead, that's Tim Pappas, and then just in front is Chuck Hemmingson in the ARC Mazda. This is 6th, 7th, and you're riding with the 8th place car. Problems there. That looks like Della Penna in the BMW, part of the rear bumper hanging off.
You know, so often in this type of racing, you see guys just taking incredible chances and making that inside move. I couldn't tell who it was, whether I think it was one of the Nissans going into 6. You're that far to the inside, you just have to bail out, otherwise both of you are going to come out of it looking really bad.
Christian Elder ran a little wide there on the outside of turn 6. How easy is it to do that there, Boris, so that part of the track?
It's easy. I mean, your mind's telling you to lift and bail out, but your foot never listens. You just stay in it.
Whoa.
It's a good save in the BMW.
James Clay, one of the rookies, who's had a pretty good year. And Eric Curran, after breaking an axle earlier today, starting back down in 20th position. He's had a run off the track as well as he comes down through turn 9. Been a pretty eventful opening stanza here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. We'll have plenty more right after this.
An American soldier serves more than his army. He's a selfless defender of our rights and freedoms. He is proof that one soldier can and does make a difference. Sergeant C.J. Overway, an Army of One.
Log on to GoArmy.com.
It's Hooters' 20th anniversary, and we're taking you back to 1983 with me, Lee. Order our half-pound cooked-to-order more than a mouthful burger at the 1983 light price of $4.99, and enjoy it with a pitcher of ice-cold beer.
Hey, Lee, catch.
Get one of my All-American autographed footballs and help raise money for the USO. So party at Hooters with 1983 prices and celebrate Hooters' 20th anniversary today.
This Sunday on Speed at 11, the Rolex Sports Car Series at Mount Tremblant. Then at 1, AMA action from Birmingham. And at 9, the Monterey Historic Automobile Races. That's all this Sunday, only on Speed.
Each night, Monday through Thursdays, right here on Speed, is Autofocus. Different shows each night where the cars are the stars. That's Autofocus, Monday through Thursday, between 8 and 9 in the evening, Eastern time, of course. Welcome back to Laguna Seca. You ride with Shauna Marinus, who is still sitting back in 8th. Hasn't been able to make up any ground on Tim Pappas at the moment, but she's got some breathing space over Ken Dobson, and the Mid-Ohio race winner Bob Endicott sits in 10th. Meanwhile, back up front, look at this. Oberlin starting to increase the pressure on Jeff Altenberg.
Well, and when Bill's on his own and not so close, he's the fastest guy on the racetrack. What's going to be so difficult for him, though, is maintaining his momentum and getting a run anywhere on Altenberg to make that pass. You know, he's going to be a little bit more aggressive as this race goes on. 200 pounds, you have no idea what that means. That means you don't accelerate as well, you don't corner as well, but also you don't stop as well. And so when Billy gets in a position to make that move, you know, he's going to have to stick it. He'll get one shot, he'll have to stick it hard. My guess is that he's going to wait and hope for traffic and hope that works for, you know, in his position.
Brian.
I'm here with Eric Curran. Eric, you guys have had bad luck all weekend, and actually for the last couple of races. What put you out?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some kind of transmission problem that seemed to leak some fluid on the left rear. And I spun out twice, and you know, the gearbox, you can feel it in the gearbox, and I don't think there's anything we can do to get the car back out there. It's too bad, too. We had trouble in qualifying of similar problems, and didn't qualify so well, but I think we probably got up close to the top 10, you know, within those few laps, and the car was working pretty well. I think we would have had a pretty good shot at least the top 10.
Well, not only bad luck for Eric Curran, but if you're Peter Cunningham and you know your teammate's in here with a transmission problem, what are you thinking about while you're out on the racetrack, Lee?
Yeah, you'll be thinking about that a lot, we'll know. But speaking of Eric Curran, it has been a bit of a frustrating time. He joined the RTR Nissan team late this season, but despite the problems, Peter Cunningham and everyone at Nissan, Ron Stukenberg, they are happy with this young guy. He's a pretty aggressive young driver, and they're looking forward to better times ahead. You're looking at Bob Stretch in the Wheels America BMW, chasing Pierre Klein-Newbing. And at the moment, if Pierre can maintain this third position, Bill Oberlin won't be able to wrap up the championship here in California. We've got 2 races after this one. at Petit Le Mans, at Road Atlanta, and then of course everyone's looking forward to the season-ending round in Puerto Rico. Looking forward to that one, Boris?
Oh, I can't wait to go to Puerto Rico. I mean, a lot of nice beaches, a lot of nice golf courses, and we get to race too, so it's going to be pretty fun. You mentioned something before by saying Bill Arberlin's going to be patient, but I've never seen him not aggressive, and he smells one thing in this race, and he's going to take the BMW to the front. He wants to lock up this weekend.
You can see them up ahead there in turn 2. Klein Ewing defending from stretch. Cunningham is still in 5th. Chuck Hemmingson for ARC, he's running 6th. Then Pappas, Marinus, and Endicott. And Will Turner has now got into the top 10.
Difficult position for Stretch right now, because being behind a guy like Klein Ewing, who does not make mistakes, what he's got to start doing is throwing some fakes. It's nice to be right on the guy's bumper, but going into 5, going into 11, what you got to do if you're not going to make that move, throw a fake and get Pierre to tighten up his line, change what, get into the guy's head. But a guy as strong and solid as Pierre is, just being on his bumper, that's not enough pressure to make him make those mistakes.
I know that we're looking at touring cars at the moment, but Boris, let's talk about Speed GT for a moment. Have you enjoyed this year in that championship, coming back with PTG, a team that it's like family to you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been with BMW 8 years, and it's a great team, great family, and it's good racing. There's such a diverse section of cars that race in the series. I mean, it's fun to race in. It's 15-minute sprint races, so it's all for nothing.
And look at this. Bob Stretch has finally got through on Pierre Klein Ewing, and Cunningham's lining up for a shot. Hemmingson's there. Cunningham thinks about it on the inside through 9, but just places it on the inside. Now, is Pierre Klein Ewing running into trouble here?
And I think he's got a problem. I don't think that he would have given up that position that easily to Cunningham, even though Petey is his boss. But yeah, you can see he's slowing down, bringing in the pits, and right now, Billy Auberlin's probably getting it on the radio. Hey, just look after stuff, because you're looking pretty good, partner.
This is devastating for Pierre Klein Ewing as he brings the Acura RSX into the pits. The real-time racing crew go to work. Brian Till is there. Brian, what's happening?
Well, he just brought it in. I went to check with the team on what was wrong, and I didn't even get a word with them before Klein Ewing brought the car in. They're looking over, looks like some of the electrical connections, including the spark plug wires. Looks like he must have lost fire to one of the cylinders in this Acura. And whatever it is, it's put him in the pits, and in World Challenge, that puts you out, Lee.
And it also puts him out of the championship hunt. Just a reminder to you, coming into this race, Bill Auberlin, the championship points leader, needed 8 more points on Pierre Klein Ewing, and he can clinch it today. Well, it looks pretty much like he is going to clinch it today. Spin here earlier. Nothing major though. This is a few moments ago while we were looking at Klein Ewing in pit lane.
And that's one of those deals. That's going through turn 11. A guy's making a move on you on the inside, and then someone's making the move on him on the inside, and it's the outside guy that always loses. And they never know why. They're just going back.
Ralph Warren, that was. Meanwhile, back up front, race leader. He's done a great job. Hasn't put a foot wrong so far. Jeff Oldenburg doing a wonderful job. We say thank you to Boris Said. Good luck in your GT race later this weekend, and we'll see you soon.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We'll return on the other side of this with more touring car.
SCCA National Road Racing Championships. 219 IMSA victories. And the only Japanese manufacturer ever to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Wonder what we'll do for an encore. Find out by visiting MazdaUSA.com.
There's a rhythm to the road, and we have the Toyo tire to fit you, like the versatile Toyo Open Country AT, with all-terrain performance, rugged good looks, and great handling for virtually any pickup, van, or SUV, even lifted trucks. Tire dealers themselves have named Toyo #1 in product quality. That's harmony with tire dealers, drivers, and the road.
It's the latest in performance technology from Superchips. The new Max Micro Tuner lets you tune your car, truck, or SUV for more horsepower and torque. Just plug it in. In minutes, your engine management computer is super tuned to deliver dramatic performance gains when you want more power for tow and go. Call now or visit online for your nearest authorized Superchips retailer. Super Chips Max Micro Tuner. More power for tow and go.
Today on Speed,
Shove it, push it.
the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series
Oh, we got trouble.
takes on California. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, California Speedway, today 4 Eastern, only on Speed.
Speed Channel's coverage of the Speed Touring Car Championship is brought to you by B&M Racing and Performance Products, the world leader in shifter technology, and by the United States Army, an army of one. Welcome back to Laguna Seca, and here he is at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca, in his Mazda protege. Jeff Oldenburg could be a hero for that manufacturer today. They've been very patient. They've been wanting a win in 2003. And the Tri-Point team, boy, they've been consistent. They've been strong this year, but that victory has eluded them.
It really has, and you know how appropriate to get that win at Mazda Laguna Seca. Of course, a circuit they have great familiarity with. And right now you look at Bill Auberlen, and you say to yourself, is he going to push? Because, all right, I've got the championship, now I got to, I got to go for the win? Or is he just going to sit there and cruise? And we'll find out whether Boris was right or whether I was right.
Brian, what do you have for us?
Well, I was just asking the same questions that Johnny O was. I went out and talked to Mark Feinstein, who's on the radio with Bill Auberlen. I said, I assume he knows that Kleinubing is out. He smiled and said, yes. I said, all right, well then how do you pull the reins back on a Bill Auberlen? And he said, he's done it himself. He said, I know what we need to do. Let's just bring it home to the end, guys. It'll be interesting to see if that blue Mazda gets closer. Will Bill Auberlen really just sit back and bring it home? He loves to win. You know he does, Johnny.
You know, and I agree with you, Brian. If he can get close, because right now, Altenberg's doing a super job. He's very consistent with his lap times. He's using his car well, nice, smooth, using all the road. If traffic comes up and the opportunity presents itself, you know darn well Bill's going to try to shoot through.
Here he is. First time pole sitter in Speed World Challenge today. And he may very well convert that to a victory. This is exciting stuff, though. Bob Stretch, Peter Cunningham, and Peter's defending from Chuck Hemmingson. Right behind him is Tim Pappas, the rookie, fresh from his second at Road America. And Bob Endicott has been making very sneaky progress. He's been going very well, working his way up, and Endicott now sits 7th ahead of Marinus. Will Turner is 9th, and James Sofronis is 10th. Good going for the Techmark driver. We ride with Chuck Hemmingson in the ARC Mazda. And by all accounts, Chuck's going to get a new teammate at the next race at Road Atlanta. Shane Lewis is in for this one and was in for Road America as well. I think the team just looking at their options for perhaps a new co-driver for Chuck Hemmingson in 2004.
And all those guys have lately been driving extremely strong. I mean, Hemmingson, Pappas, Pappas had a great run at Road America. Endicott, we're seeing him at the front. Right now, I guarantee the person that's just kicking herself to no end is Shauna.
Yeah.
You have a great qualifying run like that, and if she was up there, I'm guessing if she's on a clear track, she can run the same time as Altenberg. But man, it just goes to show you how important those starts are.
Big dive on the inside from Shane Lewis, the second ARC Mazda protege. And boy, did Shane have his patience tested at Road America. They had some engine issues, and not necessarily the engine, but things associated with the engine. And it was a tough old day. Then he got tangled up in a bit of a scrap early on in the race, but now he's having a good, strong run. You look at Mike Fitzgerald, and uncharacteristically, Mike sits back in 12th at the moment in the Lexus IS 300. Let's enjoy a ride with him. Big lock up ahead from Shane Lewis. He's trying to pressure Sofronis into making a mistake.
Shane, of course, a strong driver. He's driven a lot in the American Le Mans Series and the GT cars, occasionally the GTS cars. This type of racing, though, Lee, boy, it takes a little bit of time because you have to learn about how the car behaves on tires. You have to learn about how it brakes, how to carry your momentum. And there's so many drivers that are gifted at this type of racing. They might not have made it in open wheel stuff, but they have a good feel for the weight, the momentum, front wheel drive, all that kind of stuff. And there is definitely an art to driving these cars well. My thoughts are that as Shane gets more and more laps in this car, he's going to find himself closer and closer to the front.
Shauna Marinus right behind Bob Endicott. Let's ride with Shauna for a moment.
Oh, you gotta love the wheel spin coming through the corkscrew. You know, she's got a lovely touch the way she picks up the throttle there. But, you know, if you watch her, it's all single file. She's got to get a little bit closer and start throwing some moves and get Endicott in front of her to start watching her.
We ride with Tri-Point Mazda's Shauna Marinis, and up front, some 7 positions further up the road, her teammate Jeff Altenberg is on the way to his first Speed World Challenge victory.
Is that cool or what? I know. It's incredible.
The 450 horsepower Porsche Cayenne Turbo. There is no substitute.
Formula One week is coming. Wind Tunnel has Mark Webber, David Coulthard, championship contender one Pablo Montoya, and a letter of intent from Bernie Ecclestone. That's Wind Tunnel at 9 o'clock Eastern, and it's only on Speed.
Hey, I know you're frustrated with slow dial-up internet. And if you think you can't get high-speed internet, think again. Now there's a new high-speed internet solution by satellite. And you can get it right now. Directway is the high-speed internet that works anywhere in the continental US, just as long as you have a clear view of the southern sky. Interested? Thought so. Now grab your remote, flip to channel 227, and find out about the new high-speed internet option available right now. Channel 227. I'll meet you there.
Tablespoons of underway now for 1990.
What is that? Next time, try locks and limits. Control what your kids watch with a touch of a button. DirecTV. Happy watching.
You're watching round 8 of the Speed Touring Car Championship, part of the SCCA World Challenge. You're also looking at Tri-Point Mazda's Jeff Altenberg leading this race. He's led every single lap from the pole position and doing a marvelous job. Brian.
Well, Lee, we saw Eric Kern have a transmission problem. We saw Altenberg's teammate Shauna Marinis get hit and move back. But what we haven't seen, but we've gotten a report on, is Altenberg himself may have a transmission problem. He says it's grinding going into 4th gear. And if you remember back to Road America, he lost 2nd gear in that Mazda that he's driving. So it could be hold your breath and see what happens to the end. And don't forget, Bill Alberlin is lurking behind it, Lee.
Yeah. Tense times, and Jeff just desperately wants that first win. He's had 2 seconds this year at Infineon Raceway and also Road Atlanta. So we ride with Peter Cunningham. He's up into 4th place, and Bob Stretch immediately ahead. Can Cunningham bridge that gap? What a race for Bob Stretch. That'll be a career best result if he can maintain his 3rd.
And it goes back to that setup thing that we were talking about earlier. They've got that BMW working very well. He's comfortable around this racetrack. And right now, with a little bit of gap to Petey, he's looking pretty good. I don't know whether he's going to ever be able to run down Bill and Altenberg.
Oh, problems here. Problems for Cunningham.
Oh.
He's got transmission issues. That sounded very much like a gearbox, Johnny.
Well, and when you have your teammate having a problem like that similar, and then throughout the weekend, boy, it could be game over for them.
Chuck Hemmingson now gets elevated to 4th, and he says thank you very much. He sits 7th in the championship, right behind Cunningham. Now he can pressure Bob Stretch for a podium. What does Chuck and the ARC Mazda have? Meanwhile, his teammate Shane Lewis has moved into the top 10.
Yeah, and Lee, people might sometimes wonder, well, you know, these guys race all the time. How can they have these gearbox problems or driveline problems? And it's pretty simple. You know, on the edge of all the racetracks, you've got the rumble strips or alligators or whatever you want to call them. And as you watch the cars, you see them use all the road. They come out of the corner, they get on those, and the tire grabs and slips, and all that is putting so much force into that driveline that things break. And, you know, if you're Altenberg, what you're trying to do is be as smooth as you can, don't touch anything. You know, there have been so many times that, you know, where I've been in races and leading and everything's looking good for the win, and the engineer gets on the radio and says, nice and smooth. Stay off the curbs. Just look after the equipment, and that's all part of the equation.
Looking at the battle here between Shane Lewis and Will Turner, and we've been heaping the praise on Bill Auberlen for his fine efforts and clinching the championship if he remains where he is. And as you can see, the day is done for Peter Cunningham. Brian's on the spot. Tough day for the Nissan boys, mate.
Oh, absolutely. It's very strange to see two Nissans in here during the race. Peter, after such a good showing last weekend, what happened?
Not sure. We lost drive. I got hit from behind, and I don't know if we spun the teeth off the final drive or what it was, but had to coast into the pits, so bad deal for the Team RTR Nissan, but we were running good, and there's always Road Atlanta in a month, so we'll come back and get them.
Spoken like a true champion, but you can see the disappointment on Peter Cunningham's face. Like I said, very strange to see two RTR Nissans sitting in the pits during the race.
Yeah, well, from a win to a DNF, it's pretty hard to swallow, isn't it?
It really is, but remember, this is a new program, and I'm sure Nissan's expectations are real and honest. Again, they do have a long history of sports car racing. They haven't been in for a while, and you don't just come back in after being out. You know, as a guy that's raced for factories, you know, most factories are aware. You get out of it, it's not just get back in and win right off the bat. You've got to catch up to everyone. You've got to improve your ball game. You've got to find out what's weak and work on it. You know, Petey Cunningham and his Nissan crew, they're going to do it, but it was a great win for them. They've got more in the future.
Auberlen is beginning to close a little on Jeff Oldenburg. Are we seeing something starting here? We'll find out on the other side of this.
Inside's the difference. It's what's inside that makes the difference. Between just handling the road, attacking, and scorching the pavement. Between just moving and riding curves like you're on rails. Between just going and tearing the wind in half. The 227 horsepower, turbocharged, all-wheel drive Subaru WRX. Subaru, driven by what's inside.
There's a rhythm to the road, and we have the Toyo tire to fit you, like the new all-season Proxys TPT, Total Performance Touring Tire. Premium performance handling in any weather and a smooth, comfortable ride for world-class luxury performance touring sedans and coupes. Tire dealers themselves have named Toyo #1 in product quality. That's harmony with tire dealers, drivers, and the road.
There's a company that can help you find your way in today's financial world. One that knows both sides of wealth, growing it and protecting it. With a full spectrum of financial solutions, advice from skilled professionals, and smart strategies to keep you on course. A company that's been managing wealth for 125 years. We're Prudential Financial, growing and protecting your wealth.
Customize your own machine and race through 20 gravity-defying courses at ridiculous speeds. F-Zero GX. The future of racing is in your hands. Only for Nintendo GameCube. Rated T for Teen. GameCube.
Welcome back to Laguna Seca. Riding with Chuck Hemmingson, and boy, has Chuck made progress in the ARC Mazda Protege. That's Bob Stretch in the Wheels America BMW immediately ahead, and Chuck is fighting for a podium here as we get into the closing stages of this race.
And again, remember, he's one of these guys that we're watching. Again, he started 8th, he's up to 4th.
Got him, he's got him! Side by side now, Stretch will have the inside run into the final turn, big on the brakes. But Hemmingson knows that he's definitely got a chance at this podium.
He does, and then when you see something like that happen, even though you might not make the pass, you know, all right, I'm into this guy's head. He's having a hard time. And just keep the pressure up, but really, you have an opportunity like that, you've got to pounce more aggressively. He really should have run it into 11, side by side, held him tight, see if he couldn't get him on the exit.
I tell you, this is huge for Chuck Hemmingson's championship chase, because as far as, well, we know that Bill Auberlen, so long as he stays where he is, because Pierre Klein-Newbing went out of the race early on, he will wrap up the 2003 championship, so everyone's fighting for the other placings. Chuck Hemmingson could leapfrog here today with this good result. The two guys ahead of him in the championship, Ken Dobson and Peter Cunningham, are both out of this race, and the points are tied. Dobson's 114, Hemmingson's only 108, 6 points behind. So this is a very valuable race, and it could be a great day for Chuck Hemmingson. Bob Endicott has made significant progress as well. The black and white, the Mugen-powered RSX you can see go through shot. And here's John Prawl, now starting to apply the pressure. He's got past James Sofronis, and he's battling it out there with Shane Lewis. Good scraps in this race, right down through the field.
There really are, and again, we see it all the time in these touring car races. And one of the neat things is you have no idea how difficult it is to create a series where that is really good for all the manufacturers to showcase what they're selling, but also find a formula to where they all are racing evenly. And you know, but for Altenburg and Oberlin out front, you know, we've got some really tight racing here.
Back with Chuck Hemmingson as we continue to watch this battle for third. Brian Till.
Chris Dejaney is the crew chief for Chuck Hemmingson. And Chris, it looks like you guys have found your magic. You had it Mid-Ohio. It looks like you found it again.
Yeah, we're a little luckier than we had been the last race or so. We're doing better than we had hoped. Hopefully we get on the podium. We're fast enough to. If we can keep Endicott behind us, he's been fast these last couple races, so we'll see. The Mazda Prote's been doing good lately, though, so we think we got it.
Well, Chris said it was good to find their luck again because, Johnny, you know, sometimes it takes luck to get back up there, even when you got a good car.
It's like, you know, I've always rather be lucky than good any day. You know, I'm pretty darn superstitious about stuff. And for Hemmingson, you know, again, that's he's wanting a good result here. But also, he doesn't have to force any issues too much because he does have, you know, very important championship points available to him, and I'm sure he knows that.
The car to watch is the third car in this shot. It is the RSX for Bob Endicott. He is right there with Chuck Hemmingson as we work our way back through the order. Here's John Prawl in the 78 Audi. What a weekend it's been for those guys. And incidentally, that car there, the 78, remember last round, Johnny and I were telling you about they had an unfortunate incident whilst traveling with the cars when the truck driver came out of a restaurant and there was a fire in the back of the truck. And, well, they affectionately call that car Crispy. And so that is Crispy. It's racing. They fixed it. It's back out there. And Prawl's doing well. John's running in 9th at the moment. So it's Altenburg who leads from Bill Oberlin. And Bob Stretch is narrowly hanging on to that third spot. Can Altenburg get his first victory? We'll find out right after this.
Today on Speed.
Shove it, push it.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Oh, we got trouble.
Takes on California. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, California Speedway. Today, 4 Eastern, only on Speed.
Hey, DirecTV viewers. I'm Jasmine Guy.
And I'm Ellen Muth from the new Showtime original series, Dead Like Me. DirecTV offers great choices for what you want to watch, like Showtime.
Enjoy breakthrough original series and movies, knockout championship boxing, plus Hollywood hits no one else has.
The best variety on TV.
Showtime, no limits.
Part of Showtime Unlimited. Added for $12 or less per month. Call 1-800-DIRECTV to order now.
College rivalries never die. That's why there's ESPN Game Plan from DirecTV. It's all the teams you want to see and all the ones you want to see beaten. ESPN Game Plan is just $119. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS to order and get a no-obligation subscription to ESPN Insider.
Now 4 nights a week right here on Speed. That's right, Dave, Motorsports Newsmakers, and you on Wind Tunnel. Great program. It has created a lot of talk, and that's Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Speed.
Oh, and look at this. I mean, this is just what Oberlin wanted. You've got traffic up there for Altenberg to deal with. You know, Billy's totally licking his chops because you see him flashing his lights there. It's always better to be the first. Well, boy, I tell you what, the second guy through traffic because the guys are awakened there.
So pressure on Jeff Altenberg now in these closing stages. Bill Oberlin would dearly love to get the victory and win the race to win the championship. He doesn't need to win this race to win the championship, we have to stress, but he would like to do it. It's a stylish way to clinch. And
a bad place for Altenberg to catch his BMW, and you know, he's gonna have to follow him through a couple corners here. Oh, but a beautiful thing he did right there. Did you see him drop a couple wheels into the dirt? Make it a little bit more difficult for Bill. That's a little bit of dirty pool. We used to play that in our younger days when I raced here, and boy, you got a guy that's pushing you real hard. If you can drag a wheel through the dirt, you make his job a whole lot more difficult.
Jeff Altenberg in the blue and white tri-point Mazda leads the way. We are in the closing stages, and plenty to talk about the first two guys up there. Altenberg, who has many championships in autocross, and he was the Trans Am Rookie of the Year. But this will be a significant achievement, his first Speed Touring Car win, if he can do it. Fighting for the final step on the podium, we ride again with Chuck Hemmingson.
You know, that BMW being rear-wheel drive is going to get a better shot out of a lot of these corners. You know, front-wheel drive coming off a corner, a lot of times you get that wheel spin. And at Laguna Seca, turn 11 is critical, and then getting into turn 5 is critical. So, you know, right now, that's what Hemmington's got to be thinking about, is getting to this next corner 4 quickly, carrying his momentum, making that move to 5. But so far, it doesn't look like he's got the strength to pull it off today.
Brian, what have you got on Jeff Altenberg?
Just spoke to Craig Nagler, who's one of the co-owners of Tri-Point Mazda. I asked him about the gearbox in Altenberg's car. It's getting worse, guys. You've got to make it to the checkered flag if you want to win one of these races. It's hard to do it without one of the gears in the gearbox. Altenberg holding his breath, and the whole team here, fingers crossed, hoping he can make it to the line. Lee?
Yeah, pressure stuff. He's only got to hang in there for, say, 1 1/4 laps. So, sure, the Tri-Point team are crossing everything down there.
And you know, you have no idea how hard that is when you're trying to save a car, because you don't want to change gears at all. You have to, and but each time you change gear, you're worrying that, you know, you're going to nick another gear.
Look at this, Hemmingson on the inside. Sorry, Johnny, but pressure stuff. Now he's put himself in the best position, because if he can hang here, he'll have the inside run into the final turn. Now Bob Stretch comes back. Great driving, Hemmingson and Stretch. Hemmingson's finally into 3rd.
Strong move by Hemmingson, and here comes Stretch back on the inside.
And Endicott. Bob Endicott now puts the pressure on. Poor old Bob Stretch has lost 2 positions in just 2 turns.
And look at Sean is all over him now.
Wow. So Bob Stretch enjoyed his time in the sun early in the race, but boy, he's being swamped at the end. And it's a hard last lap. We are on our way home to a first-time winner and crowning a champion here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca.
That was some sweet aggressive driving that we saw by Endicott. By going to the inside, he really pretty much forced the issue on Stretch. And, you know, sometimes you fight a little bit too long. Stretch has got another problem. He ran a little wide of the apex. Shauna not close enough to take advantage of it.
Early in this season, it was dominated by BMW and Acura, with Bill Oberlin and Pierre Klein-Ubing. But in the last 3 races, 3 different winners and 3 different cars. Oberlin's BMW at Infineon Raceway. At Mid-Ohio, it was Bob Endicott's Acura. And at the last race at Road America, it was Peter Cunningham's Nissan. Today, a Mazda, this Mazda protege, Jeff Altenberg, is on its way to victory lane. Great stuff for Jeff. There is the guy who we will crown as champion of 2003 for Turner Motorsport, Bill Oberlin. But this guy, there is a lot of important people here from Mazda, and Jeff Altenberg will give them something to celebrate. Sensational stuff for him and the Tri-Point Mazda team. He goes on to the winners list in 2003, and that is his first victory in Speed Touring Car Racing. Well done, Jeff Altenberg and the Tri-Point team. Stunning stuff at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. Reason to celebrate for this great team. and they don't mind a party either. Aublin gets second. Hemmingson finally gets there, and he picks up the last step on the podium ahead of Endicott, Bob Stretch, and Shauna Marinus here finishes 6th. What a final lap. Final 2 laps.
It was awesome, and you know, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you these guys would win a race. I'm glad to see that Altenberg finally pulled it off.
And they're still battling to the line. Baxter is defending.
Oh, beautiful move going there.
Hard on the brakes. And look at this.
Cut it back to the inside. Hold shot off.
James Clay in the 36. Switches back but can't quite do it. And Baxter will hold him off to the line. The Bimmer World driver just couldn't quite get there. Great day here at Laguna Seca. And when we return, we'll hear from our winners, race and championship.
None of these Mazda race cars ever dropped a valve, pulled a piston, or threw a connecting rod. Maybe that's why they've established one of the greatest winning records in racing history. To learn more, visit MazdaUSA.com.
Out here, control is everything. On the track or the road, a B&M manual sport shifter will improve your driving performance, delivering more control and quicker shifts with up to 50% shorter throws than stock shifters. B&M precision machines stainless steel and T6 aluminum to craft the highest quality sport shifters in the world. So good they come with a 1,000,000-mile warranty. For the B&M dealer near you, log on to bmracing.com. B&M Sport Shifters. Improve the art of driving.
It's Hooters' 20th anniversary, and we're taking you back to 1983 with me, Lee. Order our half-pound cooked-to-order more than a mouthful burger at the 1983 light price of $4.99, and enjoy it with a pitcher of ice-cold beer.
Hey, Lee, catch!
Get one of my All-American autographed footballs and help raise money for the USO. So party at Hooters with 1983 prices and celebrate Hooters' 20th anniversary today.
And they're away.
There he goes, down the inside. Takes over the lead. Can he get it done?
Both out.
Wheel to wheel.
Through the final turn.
Checker flag is going crazy.
Formula One, the United States Grand Prix, September 28th, exclusively on Speed.
This is what racing is all about.
Speed Channel's coverage of the Speed Touring Car Championship is brought to you by Toyo Tires, known for performance, tires that fit you. Time to take a look at the final results from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, and we know that Jeff Altenberg picks up his first Speed World Challenge victory. Sensational stuff. Aublin and Hemmingson, great to see Chuck get there on the podium, and Bob Hendicott wins our Sunoco Hard Charger Award, coming through to finish 4th. Johnny, final thoughts. Pretty eventful race.
Well, great job by Altenberg. You know he was going to win a race sooner or later, but real big congratulations to Bill Oberlin. You knew when he announced that he was going to do this series, it was going to be tough for everybody else.
Let's get it down and hear from our winners.
It was definitely a weekend for first, and first for you, Jeff. First pole, first win. It looked perfect, was it?
It was about as good as a weekend can get for me. You know, these Tri-Point guys have been giving me a fast car all weekend. The Mazda protege's been great. I mean, and really all year. We've just had some bad luck. We maybe could have had a chance or two to be up here before, but it's nice to do it at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. And, you know, we got to thank Mazda Speed for their support and help in making this car fast.
Well, excellent job by Jeff Altenberg today, but we talked about first championship and World Challenge for you, Bill Oberlin. How hard was it to sit there in second place after you knew Kleinubing was out?
Well, I mean, it wasn't like I was sitting there. The 200 pounds were sitting there every turn. I could feel them. Turner Motorsports gave me a great car. I mean, they've given me a car that's never finished worse than 4th this whole year, I don't think. Always on the podium. I am so grateful to those guys. Thank you very much. Good job to Jeff and Mazda. They did a great job. And BMW is the way to win a championship in this thing. Thanks, BMW.
Well, the championship may be good, or it may be over, but the racing, it's still going to be good, Lee.
Yeah, it's far from over. We go from here to Road Atlanta. That's on the Petit Le Mans weekend. That will be a great weekend. and then, of course, the season-ending race in San Juan, Puerto Rico. On behalf of Brian Till and Johnny O'Connell, I'm Lee Diffie. Thanks for joining us from Mazda Raceway, and what a day it was for Tri Point, Mazda Speed, and Mazda. Jeff Altenberg, you're the man today here in California.